trying to share something. Okay, well, we're recording. Welcome, everyone, to the Pet Biz Support Show. I'm one of your hosts, Bella Vasta, and I'm here with the awesome, I'm going to call you Aussie, Kate McQuillan out in Ireland. Kate, how you doing tonight?
I am doing great. Very good. Great to be here.
I'm always impressed with your dedication to this blab. I want to remind everyone that this blab slash podcast that we're going to turn it into, we just kind of, do this out of our own hearts. We don't get paid for it, but we do it because we like to kind of get the information out there. And we're really passionate about stuff. And Kate is a true testament to it because I want all of our listeners to know that you and your husband leave your home, go to a hotel where you can have a dedicated internet connection because your home isn't always, reliable for this sort of thing. And it's 11 o'clock at night. I don't know. I mean, everyone listening, right?
This is like our date
yeah, go get a hotel room. Hey, Tuesday night. That's really sweet. So Kate, I appreciate your dedication to this, as do I'm sure many of our listeners. For those of you who might be listening to us for the first time, Kate is from Possum Media, which is totally possum. And Kate, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah, I basically help people with their marketing and their social media in their pet business. So really trying to find new clients online using social media and content. So
that's awesome. And Kate, you are definitely, you've got the social proof to prove it. You are a great listener and teacher, so much so that I want the world to know that you've helped me out and I've hired you. In fact, I'm waiting for your schedule again for this week. The things that you've been able to help me on have been things that I've been wanting to do for a very long time.
Exactly.
And thank you publicly for helping me get over those little, they're kind of like these speed bumps I was going over and then rolling back and then going over and then rolling back. And you kind of helped give me that second gear to get up over it. So I'm pretty excited. yeah.
Sure.
So, well, listen, today our topic is hiring staff or switching from ICs without having a meltdown. And before we get into all these tactical things that you can do and our freebie that we have, I'm curious to actually turn it on you for a second, if that's okay. Kate, tell me, how many people do you have on staff? And did you start with ICs or employees? And what was your overall journey? If you can kind of let us all know your background on that.
Yeah. In Ireland, we have different types of contracts. So our guys would be contracted to work for us. And it's very different to the way you have ICs. It's a very different process. But essentially, we have 65 now that would be very active with us. We probably have about over 100 people working for us, but they wouldn't all be delivering services every day. Ireland's very different in a sense of in the cities like Dublin, Cork, Limerick, Galway, it would be very busy. In the urban areas where we have guys, it could be they might not do a job from 1 month to 3 months later. Just because the small country areas, people aren't going away all the time there and they don't tend to have daily dog walking. But we started just ourselves, started with ourselves doing a bit, mainly Michael really, and then just gradually brought more and more stuff on. And as the company's grown, we like to have a lot of people doing a little bit. That's worked a lot better for us than giving control of areas to one person. And as you know, we're in the process of franchising our business at the moment. So we have 6 franchisees ready to get on board. We're working on content marketing with them for the different areas. So, and we'll have a total
That is
of
just incredible. Kate, tell everyone, what year did you actually start all this? I mean, because I think our listeners are thinking that this took years and years to build. You must have had your business for a decade.
No, we started looking at it in October 2010. And I suppose it was really the middle of the following year that we really kind of started taking it seriously. So we've franchised the business. We started that in October last year. but we really underestimated how long it would take with contracts. Like they don't rush themselves, solicitors. So that took a lot of time and a lot of
Right.
marketing. So yeah, we're
I,
getting there. It's great. And it's actually never a model I thought we would go down the route of, because franchising is very different. You're giving away a certain amount of control of your business. But I think for us covering the whole of Ireland, it really is a great way to get people on board who want to actually build your business. So when you have employees, that's great. They do a certain amount of marketing, but with a franchisee, they have a more of a vested interest financially to actually build that business in that area, because obviously they're making
right,
the
right.
majority of the money.
And I like
So
how you kind of said it wasn't the route that you thought you were going to go 5 years ago when you first started this out. I think that's really similar to a lot of pet businesses. They kind of just start out for their own different reasons, and then as it grows and it develops, and you actually think like, "Wow, I've planted a really good thing, and I've got some really good soil." It kind of grows and develops into this new monster, if you will.
I think so. And I've never been a huge
Hmm.
fan of franchises, if I'm honest. Do you know, I've always felt that it wasn't as personal as having your own business, and you lose a lot of control. And but I think it's how you set the franchise up. I mean,
Hmm.
ultimately, you
Hmm.
can set it up whatever way you want. And I think for us, the approach is going to be more working as a team, doing the content marketing, really building a strong base, and just happens so that they are franchisees as opposed to employees. So I don't think it's
Right.
going to
Well, for
be
our listeners
much
listening right
different.
now, Kate and I love to just be natural and shoot off the hip. And this little talk that we just had is completely off the
Mhm.
hip and just natural and happened. And Kate, I think you might agree with me when I say I think we should talk about the concept of franchising and explore what you're doing a little bit more in a future episode. What do you think?
Yeah,
It
definitely,
is.
definitely. It's very
I could actually
interesting.
sit here and
Very
talk to you
interesting.
all day about it, but we haven't
Some very
prepared much. So
It is, even down to the number of people you need to talk to before you get a serious person.
I
Now,
can't
that
wait
is
to
a
hear
whole
the
subject in itself.
story.
It's a bit like hiring staff. It's exactly like hiring staff. People think, I'm sure we'll talk about this later, people think they're putting ad up on Facebook and they're going to find the perfect employee who's just going to do everything they say they're going to do. It's not. You have to kiss a lot of frogs
I thought you were
before
going
you
to say you
find
had
the
to kiss a
perfect
lot of something
person.
else.
Seriously. But it's exactly the same with a franchise. You've got to find the right people, and you have to go through that process. And it is a little bit like a hiring process. You're
Yeah,
asking
you're
similar
absolutely right. And
questions.
so our topic today is all about how to do this all without actually losing your mind or melting down, as we called it. And as I was preparing, I kind of thought back to my history. When I first started this company, it was only a means to get out of my parents' house in college. They wanted to put a curfew on me. I didn't want that. And I could get paid to go sleep at someone else's house. And at the time, I wasn't, as strict with my hours I'd be there. I was just like, I'll live at your house and I'll be there as like my main spot. So, for me as well, this company just blossomed and changed as it went. And I always was very old fashioned in my ways where I wanted to be a stay at home mom. I wanted to be able to be there for my husband and my daughter. And I got married what they kind of consider late in life. When I was 31, I think I was. So it took me a little bit to do that. And in my 20s, I was growing the company, but always had that vision of I wanted a company that I would run that wouldn't run me. I wanted to be able to be a wife and be a mom and still have the company. I wanted to have it all. So I always knew that I wasn't gonna be able to do it all on my own. So anyone who's listening to us today, I want to like talk to the women who are in their 20s, who are or single maybe, who kind of are unattached, so to speak, on their way to being attached. And I want to talk to you about where do you think your business is going to go? Because as your life changes, people are going to want you more. And I think naturally as women, we become the glue of the household. I mean, we have to manage things around the household like service workers or, uh, and I'm speaking very traditionally, of course, but there's just a lot of things that fall on us. And as women, we're natural multitaskers. So I kind of feel like, I was really happy that unintentionally that's the way I ended up having a staff. But for those women who are looking forward, who are just starting their company, I want to encourage you to think more. And I also want to talk to the people that already have the family going on and the glue and people getting them in so many different directions because your business you can't be married to it. You have to be married to your significant other and your kids and your life, you know? Otherwise you're not going to be happy. And I really feel like the only way to do that is to have help. You end up reaching a certain ceiling. Your family's going to want you the same time that your business wants you, at breakfast and at dinner, on the weekends for vacations. And having a business, I want to give you the permission like that you should be able to have all that stuff. The only way you can do that is by having a staff. So no matter what stage of the game you're at, whether you're just starting out, whether your business is eating you alive, or maybe you have contractors who you're just looking over your shoulder every day. Today, I want to talk about hiring staff, namely employees, and what you need to do. Kate, do you know that I was offered to go to Jamaica? And yeah, and
I
I was
remember
just
that.
like, you
I
know
remember
what?
that.
I really want to go. I don't want to give that up. I'm kind of like the same kind of situation when someone asked me to jump out of an airplane. I said, okay, and then name jump consulting out of it. I want to be able to take those moments in life. And I know that there's a lot of other people out there like that too. When I first did that, I actually had independent contractors. What were you going to
And
say?
did you ever think about closing the business for a couple of weeks? Because I see a lot of people in Facebook groups saying, and over here as well, you see a lot of companies shut down for Christmas. They shut down for their 2 weeks holiday in the summer, 2 weeks later in the year, and they just block out these dates and they just close. And I've always found that really strange because your customers are now scheduling their pet sitting around your
Or another
holidays
pet
as well
sitter.
as their own. So
Yeah, I think it kind of comes down to what your goal is for your business. If your goal is absolutely no way, no how do I want anyone else working for me, then that makes sense. That's your only option. But with that option, you risk the chance of someone else, your client hiring someone else and liking that person, or their rates, or their service, or their pet sitter that they send, or you run a risk of losing those clients. So it's kind of an individual decision, but in my case, it never crossed my mind. I was like, hell no. Like, I'm not closing. I'm very competitive. I grew up playing basketball, softball, and field hockey. And at one point, I was on 3 basketball teams at the same time. So, like, I have that, like, little competitive edge to me. And I don't want to give my clients away. I work so hard. So, I've created this.
and it's a lot of money to lose, a lot of money to close for 2 weeks.
It is. You do. You
Like, you
totally
feel
do.
that.
I mean, that could be a couple grand depending on how your business is run. So I've created this awesome infographic to help walk people through because when I was going through it, not only was I trying to get an expedited passport to get to Jamaica at the time, but I was also trying to figure out how in the heck do I teach someone to do what I need them to do, all in like, I think it was like a 3-week span. How do I teach them how to do it? How do I do it legally? Where do I have to go? Who do I have to like have on my team? What do I need to sign? What kind of forms do I need to fill out? What was I missing? I think my biggest thing was I was just scared I was going to do something wrong. And I wasn't quite sure, who was going to answer the phone or what was going to, if there was an accident or an emergency. There were so many questions. And granted, I was going out of the country, so I was a little bit more removed, but that was the thing that like pushed me. Other people I know are just sitting there like petrified because they don't know which direction to go in. And I don't.
But I think that's the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing that stops us from doing things is fear. And it's not fear because something bad's going to happen. It's just fear because you don't know what to do.
It's the total unknown. And so first, the people that have independent contractors, that's totally cool. But if you're looking for another alternative, and obviously we're talking about employees here, it's kind of still underground. A lot of pet sitters don't know. Kate, in the United States, the IRS has this program where you can apply and you tell them what you paid in payroll the year before, and you only pay 10% of what you would have paid. And then the IRS says, we agree not to audit you. That's pretty cool because there's the IRS, there's the state, and then there's 4 other agencies that can audit you. But it's pretty cool. So I wrote this article and did a case study on a couple of pet sitters that actually did this. And I talk about it as like the first option if you have independent contractors, you're looking at switching. It's getting the IRS's blessing.
That means you're literally switching and you're starting a new slate. So nothing can happen to you.
At least on the federal level, that's cool. You know? And I think what happens is it's kind of like a domino effect. I've heard. I've interviewed many pet sitters that have been audited, and I've written about it. And I actually have a new one coming out. Randa decided to be interviewed, which is really cool. And it's actually not the feds that do a lot of the auditing; it's the states. And I have some research and documentation on that as well. But it's fascinating. And once you do switch, if you don't go through the program, anyone can still audit you for a couple years ago. And let's face it, the government usually works a couple years ago because they're so far behind. So just because you switch doesn't necessarily mean you're out of the woods, I think, for the first couple of years. That's my own personal opinion.
Is this even if you do the federal thing?
So, I mean, nothing's ever a guarantee, but wouldn't you want to at least have peace of mind about one major big thing, you know? So I think that program is something that'll help a lot of businesses have a little bit more peace of mind if they had independent contractors and switching over. The next 5 steps are really, they apply to people with independent contractors or ICs. If you have an IC business and you're switching to employees, you're literally changing the structure of your business. You're going from hiring people, Kate, who had their own company, who knew how to do a job, who do it their own way, who don't need supervision, to someone who doesn't have their own company, who wants to be trained, who you get to control and check up on. Those personalities are 2 totally different things. So oftentimes, legally, it's not just a piece of paperwork. It's a lot about your structure and your foundation. And the first thing that always comes into play is pricing. So my second step is to check out your pricing. And you need to really figure out your margins. How much are you making? Because you deserve to make money. You're spending all this time in this business. You should be getting a handsome paycheck each pay period. And if you're not, we got to get you on track.
No, that's probably people's biggest fear, isn't it? That there's going to be all these extra costs and how am I going to afford it? And maybe they don't actually think that they can put their prices up. Do you know, they just really think, oh my God, I'll lose all my customers. But I've seen so many people in the group that have gone through this process with you and they put their prices up and they're like, oh,
no kidding.
Actually,
and it's funny, I've never had one person ever say, oh my gosh, I raised my rates and my business crashed. Never. Since 2007, when I've been doing this, no one has ever said that. Most of this fear is just false evidence appearing real fear. It's just what we tell ourselves. So, you're absolutely right. And it depends on the health of your business. Not everyone has to raise their rates, but, that's where the numbers don't lie. And you have to go through it mathematically. You have to pay yourself, pay the business, have room in there for labor. It's the businesses that have independent contractors that are paying a competitive or charging a competitive rate. Those are the ones that usually see like the biggest shift. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, you're getting your business healthier. You're going from a house made on sand to a house made on stone. So pricing is a big deal. You can't neglect that. And when people say I can't afford it, it's because they don't know how to run numbers. And I encourage you to do that. I hate numbers myself, which is why I dumb it down and I make it really simple and we don't get all complicated because it's pet sitting. It's not rocket science, The next thing is building a team. And you were talking about, kissing a lot of frogs for franchising. And it's the same with pet sitting. I find I equate it to dating all the time. You can't go out there say I'm, a Christian woman who wants a guy who is established in life or, he's not trying to make something of himself. He knows who he is, what he wants. lives in a certain area, and family is important to him, I'm not going to go try to marry someone who's like Jewish, who is short. Tall was always one of my criteria. Who is like, living in a shack, who doesn't have any motivation in life. Like, that's just fool on me. Like, so I think dating or hiring is a lot like that. You've got to know exactly what you're looking for. And while there's similarities in a lot of pet sitting companies, if you really truly look at what your needs are and what you're looking to fill, you're going to figure out exactly who you're looking for, which makes it a lot easier to go out there and find them, because you know what dating sites to go to, Christian Mingle or Jewish Connection.
But I think as well, I know that we find this, we get hundreds and hundreds of applications all the time. But I think people just think it's enough to like dogs. Oh, I like walking my dog, so I want to be a dog walker. I don't think they realize when they're applying that, it involves actual walking more than one dog throughout the day for a long period of time. And I think sometimes we can kind of just go, oh my God, this person's in the perfect area, say. I know we experienced this in the beginning, they'd be in the perfect area, and then you start kind of compromising. And I think you have to be really strict on what it is that you want and very clear. It's not actually somebody who has experience with dogs or has experience with animals. We just look for people who can follow instructions.
That's called,
pretty much. Obviously you can't be terrified of cats or dogs, but our biggest thing is following instructions. So can you turn up on time? Can you do what the client wants you to do? Can you report back to us?
That's called hiring for attitude, training for skill. And you're exactly right. You're looking for that person that you can mold into doing what you want, more so than loving dogs. Can you follow directions? It's such a strong, powerful point that I hope everyone is taking note of right now who's listening to us. I can't agree with that more. The other thing is, as you're, and this is kind of skipping ahead to step 5, but when you're interviewing, knowing how to ask a question many different ways to see if that answer wavers. Sometimes people don't think that they have a problem with driving, but if you position that question a couple different ways, you're going to get a couple different answers and more clarity. So many times in the group, you see people that say, well, they said they don't mind driving, and now 2 months later, they're saying they don't like driving. And it's like, well, yeah, but I don't think they intentionally meant to mislead you. I don't think that they really gave it the consideration it needs to. So we have to figure out ways to ask that question that really puts it in perspective for them.
I think this is probably one of the best examples I have. We had a girl that applied. She said she had full availability. Great. Everything about her was perfect. She was actually really good at following instruction. But then a couple of weeks into starting with us, it turns out she had all these hobbies, which she didn't see as not being available because they were her hobbies that she failed to mention. And pretty much then she used to go in every week and fill out on the online system all this stuff. There was choir practice,
underwater basket weaving,
some book club things. She was in church on the weekends. She literally had 5 minutes in the week to pet sit. It was insane. When you ask her about it, she was kind of like, oh, well, I am available. No. So I think sometimes you can get it wrong. That's what I'm trying to say. You can ask these questions, and sometimes we just get it wrong.
Right, and when you get it wrong, all you got to do is correct and continue. You cannot say, oh, I can't hire, or no one can do it as good as me, or anything like that. If you're going to have that attitude, this is never going to work out for you, because I think we can both agree it's an ongoing problem, right?
You'll always need to be hiring, because we've done this before in the early days. You start to expand and then you panic hire, and literally anyone.
Completely lost you, girl. I hope we get you back. All right, I'm going to continue on. Kate will be back with us. I'm sure she's scurrying to get back on here. We've got, so number 1 was the IRS blessing. Number 2 was pricing. Number 3 was building a team. Number 4 is creating a manual. And this manual, handbook and training manual, like, you really got to get with your team and figure out like what exactly you want to say. Are you going to have one big fat employee manual, or are you also going to have training manuals on specific job types, or, you know, for a dog walker or for an office manager, or like procedures, you know? The next one is interviewing. That's number 5. And we started talking about that a little bit earlier. And simply put, when you're going to be doing the interviews, you really need to know exactly what you're looking for. And when you can know what you're looking for, it's going to be a lot easier to see them. It's going to be, they're going to be in front of you and you're going to say, yep, you checked all my list. Or it's going to be like, nope, they don't check my list. So if you can do that, it's going to help you a lot more. Rightfully so, you're also going to notice when they're not good for you. And if you can narrow down exactly who you're looking for, you can also look for them where those people would be. For example, if you were looking for a PTO mom with kids in school all day, you could contact the groups on Facebook for moms who have kids in middle school or high school, you know? If that's who you're looking for, and those are the availability hours in the middle of the day that you're looking for. So knowing what you're looking for is really, really important. That was number 5. And number 6 is operations. You've really got to figure out how to make everything smooth, because nobody wants to work for you if they're having to call you for every single client they have to come in and see. Kate, I don't see you, but can I hear you right now? Nope, I can't hear you yet either. Okay, no problem. I'm going to keep going here. So, the operations, and this is an example. You know, you need to be able to get consultations or meet and greets going with clients without driving your pet sitting staff mad, or without losing the sale from the potential client. You're going to need to be able to have communication flow smoothly through the client, the pet sitter, and other sitters, and yourself. You're going to want to have that client feel like you're really at the helm and you know exactly what's going on, and that that nothing's going to get slipped through the cracks, and that they're really hiring a company and not your actual pet sitter. Operations can make or break you. Operations are what can make you spend 10 extra hours a week, therefore not hanging out with your baby or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whoever it might be, or taking a vacation and not really being able to relax because you're on the phone. So I really want you guys to think about this, and I have a great download for you. If you go to jumpconsulting.com/6steps-download, go to jumpconsulting.net 6steps-download. If you go there, you can get this free download. It is this awesome infographic that I put together for you guys. It is so good. It has those 6 steps up at the top. It has a lot of statistics. So, for example, did you know that pet sitting companies with employees will generate more revenue and make more profit than pet sitting companies with ICs? And this is based off of a 2013 study that we did on a whole bunch of pet sitting companies. I have in there comments from actual pet sitters saying exactly why they love having a staff and what that helps them and able to do. I also have statistics about why audits are on the rise and what specific states they're on the rise in. Did you guys know that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 18 states that have volunteered to be a part of this new strategy between the states and the federal government. So basically, it's a domino effect. If you get audited by the state, ding, ding, here comes the feds too. They're working like hand in hand. They're talking to each other. Ouch. We also talk about workman's compensation claims because, you know, you really want to be protected, and having employees and workman's compensation claims allow you to do that. And then I talk about all the things that you're going to need in order to have employees and resources for you. So that download is pretty, I worked probably about 5 or 6 hours on it for you guys. And I really hope that you enjoy it. So again, you can go to jumpconsulting.net /6 steps, and it's the number 6 steps hyphen download. Kate, I do not see you. Kate, let's see if you're in the chat here. and maybe I could get you. Um, Everyone, we are actually excited to announce that we are going to be going to podcasting. We're going to move all of these episodes onto a podcast so that you can very easily just listen when you are in the car, driving around, walking dogs, doing laundry, doing the dishes, working out, anywhere you're at, and you can just have us in your earbuds. Of course, we both separately have our own podcast. Kate has her own podcast. If you look up Kate McQuillan, or you go to her site, Possum Media on Facebook. She has links to it there. I too have Bella in Your Business. You can look for that on Stitcher or iTunes. But now we will also have the Pet Biz Support Show. We have a lot of great topics coming. We're going to record them all once, one day. You're more than welcome to join us. We'll probably announce it so you can kind of like sit in the audience or ask questions if you want. And then we're going to schedule them all to come out, which I think will be really cool. I'm very excited. Kate, I feel like I'm filibustering here. I don't see you talking on the chat on the side, and you're still kind of pulsating in here. Your beautiful picture. I can't see you. Maybe lost you. Yes. Can you come back? So what Kate and I do, if any of you are ever interested in doing your own Blab show, is we also chat on Facebook chat when Blab doesn't exactly work out for us. So we'll have to see what's going on there. But in any case, guys, and on the bottom of the infographic, there is a 10% off coupon for some Jump products. And you're on. I don't see you on, girl. You can't see me. Well, I'm on. Can see me. I can't see you. Can see me. You are pulsating. I am holding for it. You know what? We are going to call her. Hello? Oh, are you, okay, it says it doesn't show you in here at all. I have you on speaker. Oh, here we go. Click anywhere except. All right, now you're pulsating again.
So I was just talking to myself.
There you are. Yes, I just went through the rest of the points and explained those all. I kind of feel like I was filibustering there.
But I was talking to myself then, obviously, because I could see myself and couldn't see you.
Yeah, I think so. And I was trying to chat with you on the side there too. So I was just, thank you for joining us again. I was just telling everyone about creating a manual and interviewing and then operations, and how operations, you might have a lot to weigh in on that point. Operations can really suck you dry if you don't have things streamlined. It could add an extra 10 hours onto your week and take you away from your family or your hobbies or vacation. You know, if you're on vacation, you're tied so much into your business. You have to be on email and phone and checking things, and it's just operations is really important to get that streamlined.
I think as well, and I think making everything so simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. You are just walking dogs and feeding cats. An online booking system, you know, I can't imagine how you would run it without having software. And I know you have a great comparison chart that you could link up for people, you know, so they can look and see which one is the best that they can actually use. I know we've tried a couple of different ones. We use Precise Pet Care at the moment. It's absolutely fantastic. It's saved hours for us. It really works well for us. It was very hard for us to find one that worked in Ireland with the credit cards and stuff. So this is really tailored to us. It's been very good.
Right.
And I think not having any unnecessary steps in your processes as well, making everything very simple.
Mm-hmm. I was chatting about how, like, no one, I mean, so that's like the side of you want to not take up too much time out of your own life. But Kate, I don't think anyone also wants to work for us if we're having to call them before they walk into every single house and tell them what to do. And the clients are getting 12,000 calls and texts and emails and everything's, they don't know what number to call, the pet sitter or you or the other pet sitter. Things need to be streamlined, and that could make or break a company. So those six things are really important.
I think you need to think about it when you first start and think of yourself as a lot bigger than you are, so that it's okay when it's just you sending texts and video messages and all this kind of stuff. But when you have like 100 of you, it doesn't work. It needs to be so simple. We had a girl that works for us saying, "Oh, I've taken this lovely video. Can I send it to the client?" And you think, "Ah, it's kind of nice of her," but no. The process is like we do this, this, and this. Because if one customer gets it, then another customer wants it, and then if you have to send a different pet sitter and they can't take video, then you've let them down because now they're expecting video and. It's just, it needs to be simple. It needs to be duplicatable so everybody can do it.
I can't agree with you more. It's such a great point, and it's a great illustration. And that's why I've adopted, like I'll pay people for pictures and videos, but I won't. They'll always come from me. They'll never come from the actual pet sitter because you want the client to be bonded to your company, and you also, I think anything in life, you have to manage expectations. Like, Kate, this is what you can expect from me, and now and there's no misunderstanding or confusion. So expectations between the clients and the sitters, that all comes to operations. And yes, always think that you're bigger than you are. It's like when your mom used to buy you shoes and stuff tissue paper in them because she knew you'd grow into them. Because in the same way. So guys, again, if you want this awesome infographic with all that juicy information I was just telling you about while Kate was gone, all you got to do is go to jumpconsulting.net/6steps-download. And that's the number 6. So, Kate, do you have anything else to add in?
I think, people need to do the download and see how they can do all this with their own business. And really spend some time. Something I've been doing this week is auditing my blog. And it's kind of a different example, but I've been auditing my blog. And I think sometimes you have to audit your company as well. Audit what are your processes and procedures. And are you, even if you're not thinking about hiring employees or switching from ICs, some of the stuff that we've talked about today is useful just for yourself. So the hiring process and, systems and procedures, and we talked about pricing, all these things are so valuable for people to get right at the very early stages of their business as well. So have a little mini audit of what it is that you actually do in your business and how you could do those things better and more efficient. I think that's good. I think it's a good exercise to do every now and then, because you do add these little kind of procedures without even realizing. Sometimes you need to just cut through all of that and get back to basics.
Right. And I can't wait to hear more about that audit. Was it a blog or a module that you were doing on that?
Yeah, I've just been, I'm working on the module for the Academy, but I've actually been auditing my own blog. So going through all the processes and what I do and what could be better and all the horrible blogs from 2012.
Come on. Is that an assignment from your class that you're taking by chance?
Not exactly, but inspired by.
Okay, wonderful. I think that's important. I think we should leave with that. Like, the thing is that, I started off telling everyone that I just really respect everything that you're doing so much that I want you literally in my ear helping me get over my humps. And you also are that way too. I think, you always need to be learning. And you did a podcast on that recently. I was listening to it in the car. It was fantastic. For everyone to hear and know, be filling your eyes and your ears with influences that you want to be like and you want to be around. Kate is involved with a fantastic class right now, and and I'm calling up Kate and getting classes from her too, and some other people. And I want to be learning, because if you're not learning, you're kind of dying, or you're kind of like a reservoir. You'll build up all this stinking thinking and these fears and this muck and this, I can't do this. And do you know how many times I tried to do an infographic? This is my first infographic actually published, and I'm so proud of it, and it is so awesome. But
you should be. It's brilliant.
So you gotta keep going, guys. Always keep going. I think it should end.
Definitely. And as Bella was saying at the beginning of the Blab, we are going to be turning this into a podcast so that people can listen to it any time of the day. I know some people have technical difficulties with Blab. I know we had a little issue again with it tonight. So hopefully we'll keep recording on Blab. We can just see how we get on with the sound quality and stuff and the cutting in and out. But I think it's going to be great as a podcast because, you know, you can have the little app on your phone and you can just download it when you're out and about, you know, and it's going to prompt you and remind you that we're there. We'll always be there.
We got the whole globe covered.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to us, you guys. Have a wonderful day, and shout out if you ever need anything, okay?
Okay, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks with our first podcast.